I was anchoring the Pro Club Championships, my first visit to Bairoa a couple of months ago. And I'll tell you something, he looked as young and as happy as ever. Big smile on his face, that's all you ever got with Shakti. And he's working very closely with young cricketers there in the Bairoa region, which is producing very good reward. End of the 23rd at 66 for 5, Oman.
Now, Lenny, I know you're a fan of some of the Hollywood movie references. You're not quite up to speed on your Bollywood. Have you seen Shakti, the Power, with Shah Rukh Khan?
I'm not a Bollywood man, Peter, sadly. Got quite into my Nepali music when I've spent all my jaunts and trips to Kathmandu, but not so much the Indian film stuff, no.
Shakti, well, that's what the name means. The literal translation is the power. Shakti, the power. That's where Shakti Gauchan gets the nickname from, but also there's the film with Shah Rukh Khan and Karisma Kapoor and Nana Patekar. Shakti, the power! What a powerful punch Shakti had. Not just with his left arm spin, but some people forget now. Early in his career, he was really a true all-rounder. He used to bat at number 3 for Nepal. Scored their first century in international cricket. It's not recognized as an ODI century, but I believe it was against Italy way back in an early ICC tournament. In later years, he took over with his left arm spin, famous for that spell in the T20 World Cup against Hong Kong, when Hong Kong was ambushed in the opening fixture of that T20 World Cup in 2014 in Bangladesh.
Well, you talk about not being able to catch Imran Tahir in that T20 in 2014. They couldn't catch Shakti Gauchan, could they? One of the great iconic images of that tournament, running away from his teammates. I'm not sure the opposition had done their research, and Shakti got almost every single one of his wickets on the inner half. Didn't turn too many, but didn't need to. He was deadly accurate, and he worked brilliantly with Basanta Regmi because he was such a different kind of left-arm spinner.
He had a very quick, whippy, almost round-arm action. He just zipped the ball in. Economical movement and incredible economy as well. I believe he had one match against Malaysia.
Off cutter this time.
He had some sort of absurd figures. If I look it up, I know I'll find it, but it was something like 8 overs, 10 overs, 8 maidens, 2 for 3, something like that. I gotta look it up. I know some people out in Nepal will be shouting at their screens. It was a World Cricket League match.
Well, speaking of shouting, Peter, this was something I experienced quite a bit in my hotel room when I had to listen on to yourself and Aman Patel. Just have a tweet coming in. There's tweets from all over the world. We will get to those. You can get in touch at Peter Della Penna, or of course you can get me at Cricket Badge on either Twitter or Instagram. We won't have time to read them all, but do let us know where you're watching from.
Here we go.
And we'll get to those.
10 overs, 8 maidens, 3 wickets for 2 runs. I knew it. There was an 8 maiden in there somewhere. Couldn't remember the wickets and runs, but I knew there were 8 maidens. 3 for 2, 8 maidens and 10 overs. That was at World Cricket League Division 4 in 2012 in Malaysia.
24 overs gone, 66 for 5.
And that was a tournament where Nepal went undefeated. They beat USA in both the group stage and in the tournament final at Kinrara Oval. And on both occasions, Basanta Regmi took 5 wickets against USA. Subhash Kakarel, in the round-robin stage match, scored a century. Very famous century in the win over USA in that event, in the round-robin stage. And then they absolutely demolished USA in the final. I believe it was by 8 wickets.
But like I was saying, Peter, lots of comments on social media coming in. And you have to remember, of course, all the fans watching on back in Nepal, whether it's in Kathmandu, the capital, or beautiful Pokhara leading up towards the Annapurna Trail, Bharatpur, Lalitpur, Dangadi, Bhairawa. Wherever you're watching on from, there's been lots of comments coming in on social media, and always nice to hear from Momo Cricket, Rajan Shah, who gets in touch to say, hope you realise that it's night time here in Nepal and your voice can be scary at night, Peter. Keep your eye on the volume.
Not just at night. Pretty sure it's scary 24/7.
Well, but I've been brought back to keep you under control. That was my primary commission this morning from the head producer.
The fans back in Kathmandu, they don't want to hear about Shakti, the power. Well, that's what you're trying to tell me?
That's what the end of his tweet sums up.
All caps, Shakti, the power, Gauchan.
I will try my best to control. Peter De La Penna is only half a stop from Dipender Singh Airi. A clap of the hands in frustration. That was nicely driven by Gowd. He's taken a long time to get going, but he is into double figures. That strike rate hovering only just in the 30s, though, as Maksud, whose strike rate himself only around 50, tries to rebuild the innings for this 6th wicket. Innings left in tatters thanks to 3 wickets from Sandeep Lamachani. But yeah, lovely to hear all your comments. Any questions, do let us know. And lovely to hear all of your incredibly kind messages, particularly from back in Nepal. Cut away, but straight to the man. PJ Goodall's actually stating that I'm alive. I am alive, PJ. That's kind. I'm not sure whether it's kind, but I'm definitely here today, and we'll be here with you tomorrow as well. This one's cut away. Should be at least a single, but Zishan Maksud, he's not quick between the wickets. Will just be one.
This is actual Andrew Leonard. This isn't Weekend at Bernie's. We haven't gotten just in disguise to prop him up in the commentary box. It's not a recorded voice. This is actual Andrew Leonard.
Some of the comments I got whilst not here, some of the rumors, like I can only imagine what it's like for people far more notorious than myself. But you go missing for a couple of days, and the world of the Nepali fan forum kicks into overdrive as to why Andrew Leonard's not there with you for those Nepali games. But delighted to hear from everyone, and messages literally from all over the world, from Taiwan, Astik Pokral, 1:20 a.m. watching on ICC TV. A very good morning to you there in Taiwan. And the number of fans that have been watching, not just from Nepal, but from around the world, Peter. It's been absolutely mind-blowing. 25 overs gone, get to the halfway stage of the first innings. We're going to have a drinks break. Let's run through some of these messages as we get to that second drinks break. The score 70 for 5 in the 25th. We'll just bring the graphics up onto screen. Andrew Leonard here alongside the effervescent Peter De La Penna. And here are some of the messages and questions coming in. A lot of people were commenting on your bullseye shout as well, Peter. You became pretty fond of that one during the questions. Do let us know where you're watching from. We'll get through some of these now.
Bullseye!
Let's get to them. Santosh Lama, very good evening to you watching on back in Nepal. Anishesh Bhushal, nice to hear from you. Santosh Gautam, finally found out that our brother at Cricket Badge is back watching on from Kathmandu. Lovely to hear from you. Pranesh Shaka giving out about how loud you are on commentary, Peter. Get him under control, Lenny, he says.
This is how I was born and raised in New Jersey, Lenny. When you grow up in New Jersey in an Italian family, this isn't our shouting voice, Lenny. This is our normal dinner table talking voice. Okay?
I can confirm that for those wondering. If you do enjoy a Five Guys dinner with Peter, he will be as loud in the Five Guys as he is here in the commentary box.
When my wife comes to visit her in-laws, my side of the family, she walks away from dinner asking, why is your brother shouting? Why is your mom shouting? Why is everyone in your family shouting? We're not shouting. This is our normal dinner table voice.
Question for Peter from Arjunan watching on from Sri Lanka. He is wondering, who should USA cricket fans be cheering for today? Is it Oman or is it Nepal?
Well, at this stage, I think Oman is more or less clinched the top 3 spot. I think Oman and Scotland are really secure in their positions. So, again, you look at the points per game tally. USA just shade under a point per game. Nepal also a shade under a point per game. You don't want Nepal to increase that point per game rate, so you're looking really for Oman to try and take the 2 points here to ensure that Nepal has a lot more difficulty making up that points per game ratio.
Probably more concerning, though, for USA fans will be their lack of being able to get over the line, meaning they're not on 22 points, they're only on 21. So even if they win tomorrow, that gap against the third-placed UAE will still be 3 points, and they'll have played 2 games more. Sangam Pedro watching on from Pokhara, asking us to describe the pitch. It's like a mirror on the TV. It's pretty similar in real life. And the messages flooding in. Narayan watching on from South Korea, 2 o'clock in the morning there. Sagar Powdell saying Sandeep Lamachani bowling, and Andrew back in the commentary box. It's the best treat in associate cricket. That's very kind, Sagar. Karan Siwakoti, he says, I'm not sure I'll be walking tomorrow because I'm going to be watching all night long. Don't know where he's watching from. Nice to hear from people watching all the way around the world. Good description, this from Sailesh. Welcome back, Andrew. We were missing your commentary. Without you, Nepali cricket live commentary is like pizza without cheese.
I don't know what to say to that.
Well, I don't think you can have pizza without cheese, so I'd agree with you. Thank you very much.
I think there are lactose intolerant pizza eaters maybe out there.
But it's no good, is it? It's no good.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Suman Simkata watching on from Germany. Big win for Germany yesterday. They beat Austria in that tri-series, the T20 tri-series they were playing. Castachio watching on from north of Houston in Spring, Texas. May the power of Shakti be with you, he says. Sundarp listening on. Bati Salty, nice to hear from you. Shaban Sarma, Narayan Devkota. Finally, Cricket Badge is back. I was only gone for 4 days, guys. I am sorry. I wish I didn't miss those games, but that's the way. One person wants to hear you say it one more time. That's Suraj Akaria. One more time, Peter Della Penna.
Bullseye.
No, he wants the Shakti. He wants the Shakti, the power.
Shakti, the power.
Nice to hear from Roshan Dittal, watching on from Kathmandu. Dr. Benaya Subedi, he says, Peter Della Penna's voice is as scary as Shakti the Power back in his peak days, and 10 overs, 8 maidens, 2 for 3 is still the second most economical spell in list day matches. Nice to hear from PhD Monarch. Look up at the sun, what it means. Have you ever made up stories about these clouds? Well, it's not too cloudy today, but certainly it's making things a bit easier. Nitesh asking me when I'm taking out Nepali citizenship. One day, I'm sure that's going to happen. And lots of messages coming in as well on Instagram too. Great to hear from everyone. Someone watching on from Tbilisi in Georgia. Hoping that Nepal don't choke today. They're certainly in a good position at the halfway stage of the first innings. 25 gone. Oman 70 for 5, and Mohammad Adil Alam is going to continue into his 8th over. Superb figures for him. 7 overs, none for 11 at the moment. And this one just wide outside the off stump. It's been a superb start to his ODI international career, Peter.
The economy today has just been remarkable. He had the death bowling spell a couple days ago against the USA, but here in a different role in the middle overs, it looks like he's going to bowl 10 straight here just to keep Oman tied down. I thought they might take him off after 6 overs if they were going to keep him back for a death spell, but the rhythm he's in, Lenny, it just looks like he's going to bowl 10 straight.
Messages literally coming in from all the way around the world. Prabesh Dungana messaging through on Facebook. Amrit Karala watching on from Kathmandu. Lots of fans in Kathmandu. I'll be back there soon. I've no doubt. No ball signalled. We're going to see a free hit. Is this one going to be costly? We saw a no ball in his final over. And this time he oversteps again.
He was able to rally back in that final over against USA, having bowled a no ball when it looked like the match was dead certainty to be finished in favor of USA. Much different situation here.
Yeah, just squeezing over that front line. Very tight call, that, Peter.
I think it's a harsh call. I think it was legal, if you ask me.
It's only going to cost a single. More messages coming in. Sariza, nice to hear from her. Watching on from Batati in Nepal. She says she feels so unlucky. I've got my exam tomorrow at 5 and it's already 10 past 11 here, but I won't miss a single ball of my country playing. And that's the kind of fanaticism you get. People will not miss anything.
I've got a message here, Lenny, from Tamang Subash, who's been watching throughout these matches across the SkyExchange.net ICC Cricket World Cup League 2 Tri-Series supported by Dream 11. And he's chimed in again from Japan, 2:25 in the morning. Can you keep screaming Shakti, the power, on every wicket or boundary?
Well, I think we might have to temper that because Janak Bandari has messaged me saying, why does Peter Della Penna keep saying Shakti the power? What is going on?
Why not? There's never a bad time to say it, Lenny. If it's paying homage to the great Shakti Gauchan.
Oh, dear. Difficult to keep Peter Della Penna under control. I will try my best. We might have to just sub him out, I think, at the next drinks break, try and get a little bit of sense and sensibility into the box, bring young Aman Patel. I know you missed me for the few days, joking aside, Peter, but Aman was a nice foil for you for the week.
It's the all-American tag team duo.
This one's punched into the offside for a single. Yeah, I really do appreciate you getting in touch. We know everyone's watching on around the world on ICC.tv. Back in Nepal, it's on the YouTube channel for Fan Code, who also are taking the broadcast there onto their app in India. And here in North America on Willow TV. It's been an entertaining series, 11 tightly fought games. We haven't seen too many one-sided games, particularly in this second series. Oman, Nepal and USA, they all have their flaws, all three of these teams, but it's made for highly entertaining cricket. Carted into the leg side will just be a single. Which of the 5 sides that's come here to Texas do you think will be the happiest, Peter, as we get close to the end of that 26th over?
Well, the first series we saw, everybody split 2 games. And it looks like we could be somewhat on our way to that if this result holds. The way it's going right now, where Oman, if they can't rally back here, they'd be splitting their 4 matches. And I don't know if I find a happiest team if everybody splits their games. And if you say the Nepal-USA match, depending on who wins that one, which will be the final match, it would result in Nepal taking 5 points, 2 wins, a tie, and a loss, if that result holds. Whereas I can pick out the least happy team would be USA. On home soil, the opportunity to capitalize in familiar conditions. Again, this facility at Musa Stadium might have only gotten ODI status designation last month as the 213th ODI cricket ground in the world. But it's been used for the last 7 years. USA players are very accustomed to Musa Stadium. They've had so many training camps, so many national team trials, so many T20 franchise tournaments that have been hosted here. There was the T10 2X tournament that was also hosted here, where you had the Nepali Rhinos compete. It was essentially the full Nepal national team, but under the franchise banner of the Nepali Rhinos. Zishan Maksud has played here. So some of the other players who've come and been a part of this tri-series are familiar with Musa Stadium. It's not their first visit, but more than anybody, it's the USA players who are most familiar with it.